Hello, today I am going to be talking about how my wife and I conceived doing at-home insemination. I think this is a wonderful route to go if you are looking at alternative ways of conceiving, especially because it's so affordable for the most part, and especially because it really provides comfort to be able to attempt something within your home as opposed to a medical office or something of that sort. So when my wife and I decided that we were going to start trying, we of course had a conversation to make sure that we were both on the same page. And then I immediately started doing as much research as I could on this subject. And let me tell you, there is such a lack of resources and also such a lack of conversation about different methods of conception. And so I tried to read and watch as many videos as I could to sort of try and gather from the little bit of resources that are out there. So the first thing that was a little bit of a struggle for me was really understanding ovulation and really understanding that that's why it's so important to track your cycle and to know when it starts and when it stops so that you have a good understanding of when you ovulate and how to even try and understand if you're even ovulating, because not everybody does and not everybody has regular cycles. So my wife and I began tracking her cycles for a couple of months, and then after that she started taking some ovulation tests so that we could see when she would be ovulating, however many days after her period. So that was pretty much the first step that we did. After that, it was really finding a donor that we felt comfortable with. You definitely can use sperm banks, but I will tell you that it is a little bit pricey and that sometimes there are limited vials for donors. So that if you buy one or two vials and it doesn't work, there isn't always more for you to try if you liked that donor. So we are very grateful that we found someone that we connected with and got on the same page and signed a contract. And it was really a blessing that we were able to try at home and to have our donation ready to go for us whenever Desiree was ovulating. So another thing that we really focused on was Desiree really making sure that she was changing what she was eating and increasing her water intake. I really do believe that eating mostly nutritious meals is very helpful with your body and your hormones, and trying to really make sure that you are doing this at the right time and making sure everything is working properly. So increase lots of fruits and vegetables, really increased water, I guess just being mindful about eating nutritious. So we also are very spiritual people, so there was meditation music happening every time that we had tried. There was spell work that I did, really offerings to our ancestors, and really asking the universe if whenever it is time that we were ready to make a baby, and that we were ready to be moms, and that we were ready to take this step in our journey together. So we would have our donor come to our home and drop off the donation, and then we kept the donation on a heating pad so that it would stay at body temperature. You really want to make sure that you are using the donation within an hour. We literally tried to aim for within 15 minutes of using it, 15 to 20 minutes of using it after we got it, because you're trying to keep as many alive as possible when you're doing this. So we ended up using what's called the Mosey Baby Kit, and that kit came with ovulation test. It also came with pregnancy test, and then the kit itself comes with a little sample cup for the donation, this is a really good size because it's easier to hold the syringe and this at the same time. It came with fertility safe lube, and then it comes with 2 syringes that are perfectly shaped. They take the sample really, really well, and it's easy to use. And I just felt like having this kit really allowed me to be a little bit more confident in my role of all of this, and making sure I wasn't spilling and I was comfortable with everything in my hands. And so I'm really grateful that we were able to find this company, because it was extremely helpful, and I really do think that it played a large role in us being able to conceive within 2 cycles, which is insane. It takes most people at least 6 cycles, so I am very grateful. So we inserted the lube about 20 minutes before insemination. The first couple of times that we used it, we didn't know that you had to insert it a little bit earlier so that it would come to body temperature. So definitely make sure that you are using it about 15 to 20 minutes before you insert the donation. Definitely recommend making a big O happen after you are inseminating, because you are trying to mimic a natural cycle, a natural way of doing this. So a big O really makes sure that it's sucking everything in and taking it all in. And something that we did do afterwards is she had her legs up for about half an hour to 45 minutes, as long as she was comfortable. It's definitely not necessary, and from what I've read, like 5 to 10 minutes usually does the job, but there's just something about you feeling better about laying down and just being like, is it in there? Did it get in there? And just allowing for ample time for everything to just like flow. But I also feel like it was a nice like meditative moment for her to just like decompress afterwards. And then something else we did do is I made sure that she ate pineapple a couple times that week. I have read that is something that's helpful for implantation. Oh, and something that I did also do prior to that's supposed to be helpful with ovulation is soaking okra. So I chopped a bunch of okra up, soaked it with a bunch of frozen berries, and had her chug a bunch of that to help with the actual ovulation. And yeah, we just made sure to have positive thoughts during. I wrote a bunch of affirmations down to say during it, because it is a lot of pressure on the person whose body is going through all of this. So I definitely tried to do my part in making sure that I was being a supportive partner, and really that we were doing everything with an open heart and an open mind. That is really the quick gist of how it worked. You basically want to make sure that you understand your ovulation, and when you're ovulating, we inseminated a couple days before, the day before, and the day after her ovulation. You pretty much are trying to make sure that you have an egg waiting when the sperm is inserted, so that they have time to meet and hopefully do their job. That is the simplest way, the shortest way of me being able to describe how we did everything. It is amazing that we were able to conceive within 2 cycles. So we tried the first cycle twice, and then we tried 3 times in the second cycle. And we had tested about 10 DPO, which is pretty early to test. Usually it's recommended that you wait at least 2 weeks. But Desiree had noticed some changes and just felt like something was different. So she was called to test a little bit early, and we saw a really, really faint little line. And then we tested again the next day and tested twice, and there was definitely a darker line. And then we used one that said yes or no, and it said yes. So we were extremely, extremely ecstatic. We are still so grateful and happy, and we were actually blessed with twins, which is even more exciting. So a couple months we've got our twins coming, and we are so grateful and so excited about it. I wish everyone the best of luck who is also going to try at home insemination. I hope that you know that there's a lot of like giggling and a lot of stuff that you just like don't really expect yourself to ever do. It's just kind of silly when you think about it, but it's also beautiful. It's beautiful to be able to have this opportunity to be able to make a baby, make babies. So baby dust to all of you, and take care.